Hi guys, I'm Jess and welcome back to 14 Flips. It's been a while since we uploaded a video. The reason being is because we've been incredibly busy at Flip HQ. If you've been following along so far, you'll know that Flip 3 is complete, our leaflet distribution company Flip. And that is now complete. We've exceeded the £800 target for that. We've actually exceeded it by quite a lot. And we've actually already begun Flip 4, as I've said throughout the process of Flip 3. A large part of choosing that as our flip was having Flip 4 in mind. And having how we can advertise and begin that in mind and have that running in the background. I've actually started to do our first jobs on Flip 4, but I'm going to introduce that in the next video. So the leaflet distribution, it turned out very successful and we are still running it in the background. We do still have some work to complete. The reason being is because I'm still distributing leaflets for Flip 4. Once they run out, then probably going to pause it for the time being. The biggest obstacle to carrying that on has been trying to recruit people. I believe there's a good sustainable business there for somebody if you wanted to build it. In fact, I know that there's a business there to be built. I know there's several companies out there, large companies that distribute leaflets and do print and design and things like this. So, I don't know, we may keep it going, we may try to get a few home distributors on board. So far we've had a lot of inquiries, we have signed a lot of people up for training days, but so far it's come to nothing. It's been myself and my wife lugging bags of leaflets and delivering them for months. I'd like to keep it running because I believe that leaflet distribution is an excellent tool for any kind of service-based business that you may like to advertise. And by keeping that running, it offers you an avenue for all the future flips that we're going to do, anything to do with service. It gives you a great foundation to advertise that at no cost to yourself, even if you don't make money on it at that point. You can still get your leaflets distributed free of charge, which has a phenomenal value to it. If you was to get these delivered with a professional company, you're looking at anywhere from £40 to £120 per thousand. So if you're delivering tens of thousands of leaflets, running a large campaign, that's a huge cost. That's a massive marketing cost. So it is beneficial to keep it running. We may keep it running in the background. Who knows? We'll see what happens when we finish the few that we've got left. We've got about 8,000 doors left to visit. This is like the third batch from customers now, and we're still getting inquiries. I signed up another new customer on the weekend. It's a small batch, it was just for 2,000, so I took it. The clients that we've already been working with are wanting to put out more and more because they're seeing results. We've had inquiries for quantities of up to 50,000 at a time. And yeah, it's a real shame that the big obstacle is recruiting people, but maybe we'll have a rethink on that, and try to keep that running, just keep the customers on the back burner, keep putting some out. But yeah, if you followed the flip so far, it's entirely up to you what you do with it at this stage. I mean, you may even decide that that's a good sustainable opportunity for you, and carry on with it. But anyway, the final thing that I'd like to talk about for Flip 3 is how to track your accounting and how to get paid without necessarily having to pay out fortunes for software that does this for you. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is creating an invoice. How do you create an invoice and how do you get paid? Now, the most cost-effective way to do it, I'm by no means an expert in computers. My knowledge of IT is very basic. I'd like to think that most people could probably manage this with very limited IT skills. So the way we've generated invoices is on Microsoft Word. All you want to do is take the company logo that you've generated, insert it on the top of the page. put an address, any registered address that you want, but make sure it's a legitimate address that you can receive mail at. Whether you choose to put your home address, or whether you choose to maybe take out a PO box, which is always advisable. If you have any issues with customers along the line, you don't necessarily want them having access to your home address. It can come with its own trials and tribulations. But so you're going to put your logo on the top, and then in the right hand corner you're going to put your address, and then in the left side of that you're going to put invoice to or bill to, and then your contact at the customer and the customer's address. Then in the field below that you're going to insert columns. Very simple to do. You just click on the toolbar on Microsoft Word. You can choose to insert the number of columns that you want, and then you're going to have a column. It's quite straightforward, really. It's quite self-explanatory. A column that explains what the item is. So for example, 10,000 leaflets distributed. Then a middle column to say the service. So for example, economy. And then the final one will say rate agreed per 1,000, whatever rate you've agreed. Then you want one below that says total, and then the total that's payable. Very rudimentary, very basic. Then below that, you're going to want to put some basic invoice conditions. Most invoices that are business to business are on 30-day terms. I'll talk a little about that in a second, but you're going to want to put your terms in, whether it's 14 days on delivery, 30 days, 60 days, whatever you decide is going to be most appropriate for yourself. Then below that, you're going to want to put payable to and your bank details. Now, you don't necessarily need a business account at this early stage. You can just use your own account. Opening a business account does look a lot more professional. We may well on this channel be looking after the next flip to open some kind of business account under Flip Corporated, Flip something. I don't know yet, but it's an option we're looking at. But for the time being, for getting paid, you can just put your own bank details. I'm going to show you a brief example of that now. So that's how our invoice looks. I've tried to block out our registered address and that on there for obvious reasons, but pretty easy to design, fairly straightforward, fairly cost effective. It's definitely a good way to get started. Makes you look professional if you put a little bit of time in and make it look professional. And you can then just use this as a template, save it, template it, and then just insert the information that you require for every time you're going to use an invoice. You also want to have an invoice number on there. I would suggest not starting with invoice number 001, because the first customers you go to, it creates the impression that this is the first invoice you're raising. I started at like 0068 or something like that, so that to a customer it looks like you're a new company, not well established, but they're not the first invoice. They're not the first batch of invoices. It creates an entirely different impression. And there's no reason that you can't mark your invoice number 1,042. It really makes no difference. Unless you're VAT registered and you have to keep these kinds of records, it doesn't really make a big deal. So, invoice terms and payment terms. Now, this can be quite problematic, especially for startup companies, and especially in business-to-business industries, when you're selling business-to-business, because the normal thing is payment terms of 30 days, but that doesn't mean 30 days necessarily from the day that you raise the invoice. Now, I would, when you raise it, presume that it's 30 days from the day and chase the account as if it's overdue after 30 days. But your more shrewd business owner is going to tell you, no, it's 30 days from the start of the following month. So potentially you could raise an invoice on the 1st of this month, send it to your customer, and you believe it's going to be due on the 1st of next month, but it's not. It's going to be due 60 days almost, because This is just how accounting works and how accounting departments work. This can create quite problematic cash flow problems. And it is very important to be on top of your accounts. Luckily, I haven't had too many issues getting paid. We've had a few clients that have gone overdue and kind of longed us out a little bit, but I've been well on top of it, guys. And it's not a pay me or I'll have court action or I'll come down there and do this. Or no, this is not the approach to take. It's a constant professional reminder. So remind the customer. When you send the invoice, call them. Did you receive the invoice? Great. Clarify that they've actually got it. Then leave it. Let it run down until it's due to be paid. A day or two after it's due to be paid, be on the phone. Hey guys, just chasing payment. Invoice is now overdue. If you could please transfer monies whenever is a good time for you, that'd be great. And then you just get a little bit sterner and sterner until you're a few weeks overdue on the third or the fourth follow-up, and then it's, come on guys, you need to pay the invoice. I can't distribute any more of your material. You could even come at it from an angle of, look, my accounts department are telling me I can't arrange any more of your deliveries until you clear the invoice. I want to keep delivering them, but look, the accounts department are on my case. Help me out. This kind of approach. If you come across huge problems, then obviously you may have to take a slightly different approach to it. But touch wood, so far we've not encountered any major issues, which is good. Now, tracking your accounts and tracking your money's due, Microsoft Excel is a great tool for doing this, and it's very simple and straightforward, but it does help you keep a record of invoices that are due to be paid, that have been paid, and over the course of months or years, it can also show you how much you've taken, which obviously for tax reasons is important. You do have to keep an idea of how much you've got coming in. I'm not a qualified accountant, so I can't offer you any advice on tax, but you do need to keep records so that when you do a tax return, you have got the information there that's required. You don't want to open up a can of worms with a tax man, trust me. So on Excel, you just want to widen the fields, and then you want to put customer name, the date that the invoice is created, the date that the invoice is due, the amount that's due, and then payment method. And you write it in black in normal writing, and that's it. When the account goes overdue, you highlight the field, you change the font to red. That's then indicating to you this account is overdue. So when you check it, you can see this account is now overdue. It's your prompts to chase them. When it's paid, you highlight it and you change the font to green, which shows that it's been paid and you therefore don't have to pursue it any further. Also keep a record of payment methods. Obviously, some customers will pay you via bank transfer, some may pay by cash, by a check. What you do with that, obviously, I can't tell you because I'm not a qualified accountant, but you definitely want to be keeping track of any back payments, check payments, anything like that, because there will be taxes owed on it at some point. I'm going to show you a brief example of how I've done that now as well. So that's that, guys. Obviously, I've tried to blur out some information on there as well for obvious reasons, but that gives you an idea of how to keep track of your accounts. And that pretty much ties it up. Keeping track of your accounts, your ingoings and outgoings, and raising invoices is going to be important for whatever service business you may be offering. Our next flip in flip 4 is actually not business to business, it's business to person, which in terms of selling it, invoicing it takes a slightly different turn than working business to business. Obviously before we was knocking on doors. For this one, we're running social media campaigns, leaflet campaigns. We're now trying to sell to the public as a business rather than sell to another business as a business. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit more on the next video when we introduce it. And yeah, really excited for the next one, guys, because we've started strong. We've made quite a big investment into it. We've invested the full amount of money from the flip and then some. We've reinvested monies from the first few jobs that we've completed as well. And we're kind of at a stage now where we're ready to start taking the money in. I believe we should get to the £1,600 mark quite quickly with this. It's a little mini gold mine, to be honest with you. I hope that you've enjoyed Flip 3 and I hope it's been a success for you. It may be a lot of hard work, but for the minimal amount of investment required, I think it's a worthwhile endeavour for anybody. Yes, the sales can be tough at the start. Yes, doing the actual operational work is difficult. You're lugging bags of leaflets around the street. But the outlay is minimal. To get some leaflets printed, buy a few leaflet bags and just go and hit the high street, knock on doors and make those sales. It's very easy. As you saw from the start of the video, we went from nothing to having our first handful of customers and doing the first work within a week of conjuring the idea. So it can happen quite quick, but obviously there's a lot of downsides to it as well. It's a lot of work. The return is not huge for the amount of work that's involved, but I believe it's a good Flip 3. And it's been very successful for us and allowed us the opportunity to then move on to the next one. Something else, guys, well, I've got you. I also had a little opportunity come up in between to sell some compost of all things, which was very bizarre. You may have seen on the Facebook. I know somebody who had some pallets of it going for the right price. Managed to 3 times the money on it. It was a very difficult thing to move, very easy thing to sell. And it just highlights that you've always got to be looking for the opportunity, guys. Anytime you spot an opportunity, do it. Even if you're involved in another flip at the time, if that's generated you some money and you've got some money there, don't feel like you have to just sit on it. If an opportunity comes along and you think you can make a bit more from that, then do it. The idea is to continue to grow the capital, grow the investment all the time. So thanks for following along, and I really look forward to Flip 4, and I'll be getting on to making the video of that and introducing it very soon. Thanks for following, guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care.